Hi everybody, welcome to our 1.3 and 1.4 lecture on adding and subtracting integers. And the big part about this is adding and subtracting positive and negative integers. It's the negatives that usually get people. So we're going to start with a visual to understand how things work and why things work the way that they do. So we're going to be using algebra tiles and we're going to draw them in. So I'm going to use a positive little white square kind of like that for a positive 1 and a filled in square kind of like that for a negative 1 throughout all of this. Okay, so my first one I have is 2 plus 3, which you're probably able to answer on your own, but I want us to get used to this algebra tile format so that we can keep going and understand the negatives along with it. So 2 plus 3, what that's going to look like is 2 positive tiles. Then I'm going to add 3 positive tiles to it. 1, 2, 3. And then on my mat, on the little rectangle here, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive tiles. So 2 plus 3 equals positive 5. Okay? In number 2, now I get into negatives. I have negative 5 plus negative 4. So what this means is I'm going to start off with 5 negative tiles. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative tiles. Then I'm going to add 4 negative tiles to that. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 negative tiles to that. Now at the end here, what I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they are all negative tiles. I have 9 negatives. So negative 5 plus negative 4 equals negative 9, not positive 9. So a negative plus a negative gives you a bigger negative. Next up, let's do some combinations. What if I have positive 4 plus negative 1? What happens then? So I'm going to start with 4 positive tiles. Then I'm going to add 1 negative tile. So that's what my mat looks like. So what happens when you have a positive and a negative is you start canceling things out. So 1 positive and 1 negative makes a 0. That pair is a 0 pair. They cancel each other out. So after I cancel those out, what I have left is 3 positives. Okay, let's do another one that's similar. In number 4, I have negative 7 plus 5. So I'm going to start with 7 negative tiles on my board here. Okay. Then I'm going to add 5 positives, and I'm actually going to arrange them so I can see those 0 pairs really well. So I'm going to add 5 positives. Okay. And then I notice I've got 5 0 pairs. I have 1 here, 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 and there. So there are 5 of these 0 pairs that are all going to cancel out. So 1 positive and 1 negative makes a 0. After I cancel all of that out, what's left over is 2 negative tiles. So negative 7 plus 5 equals negative 2. So what I'm noticing here with 3 and 4 is that I start canceling things out, and you're essentially subtracting. So 4 minus 1 would be 3. 7 minus 5 would be 2. And then the sign of that is the same as the bigger number, whichever one you started out with more tiles of. So I started out with more negative tiles in number 4, so my answer was negative. I started out with more positive tiles in number 3, so my answer was positive. So when you have different signs, you subtract, and the sign is the same as the bigger number. When you have the same sign, like what we had in number 1 and number 2, they added together and kept the same sign throughout. Now let's look at some subtraction. So number 5, I've got 5 minus 3, so that means I'm going to start with 5 positive tiles. And then the subtraction means I'm going to take away 3 of those positive tiles. So I'm going to take away 1, 2, 3 tiles. So what I have left is 2 positive tiles. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 6 is going to look pretty similar. I'm going to start with 7 negative tiles. Alright, starting with 7 negative tiles, and then subtraction means I'm taking away 2 negative tiles. So subtracting a negative 2, I'm going to take away 2 negative tiles. So if I take away 2 of those negative tiles, what I have left is 5 negative tiles. So negative 7 minus negative 2 would be negative 5. Okay. The next 2 are going to be kind of interesting because sometimes you don't have what you need to take away. So let me show you what that looks like. First one I have is negative 3 minus 4. So negative 3 means I'm going to start out with 3 negative tiles. The subtraction means I'm taking away 4 positive tiles, and you'll notice I don't have any positive tiles at all. So what I'm actually going to do is use those 0 pairs that we had with the addition so that I can get 4 positive tiles. And this is a little weird, but I want you to understand what's going on there. So if I add a positive and a negative, that's just adding a 0, which doesn't change the value at all of what I have laid down. But I get a positive available to me. So I'm going to do this 4 times so that I can get 4 of these positive squares. Okay, so I've made 4 of these 0 pairs, which doesn't change the value at all, but now I've got 4 of these to take away. So now I can take away 4 positive tiles. And what I have left now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negative tiles. So negative 3 minus 4 equals negative 7. Let's do another one that's a lot like it. I've got 1 minus negative 3. So I'm going to start with 1 positive tile. And I'm supposed to take away 3 negative tiles, but I don't have any negative tiles to start with. So I'm going to do these 0 pairs over here. And I'm going to do that so that I can get negatives on my mat. So I have a 0 pair here. It's not changing the value because it's just 0. But now I have a negative tile to work with. I'm going to do that 3 times so that I can get 3 negative tiles. So now I can actually take away those 3 negatives. So what happens after I've taken away the 3 negatives? I have 4 positives left on my mat. So what I can see over here, especially with 7 and 8, is that subtracting. So when I subtracted 4, and I took away those 4 positives, it was the same thing as adding 4 negatives to my mat. What I noticed over in 8, when I subtracted negative 3, when I took away those 3 negative tiles, it was the same as adding 3 positives to my mat at the end of the day. And so what we can see is that subtraction is actually the same thing as adding the opposite. And that's why this is working, because you're taking away half of the 0 pair to leave the opposite ones behind. So what you can do with these subtraction problems is you can actually rewrite them as negative 3 plus negative 4, which also gives you negative 7. Or in 8, this would be 1 plus positive 3. And that's why that works. That subtraction is the same thing as adding the opposite, because when you take away half of the 0 pair, the opposite is what's remaining. Okay?